how did the race go now, something like that. And there's the challenges. When you want to know what the challenge is, you can just click it, and there is some rules of this. And you can just click the bank. You can bank to the this page, and everyone is like this. And team information, there are so many things. There is a team name and how many challenges they
plan to.
You can search the team information if you know the team name or the team ID. And there is a rank. Team information, you can click one team and you can see the name, members, something like that, the details. And the rank, I just make an example. Every team, no. Maybe I can. Maybe the export have some problem.
It's okay.
And this is login page. Wow. I don't know why. Why?
It's okay.
I try and home it's okay, but why it's turned to another page? Oh, okay.
Yep.
When you just at the login page, you can input the ID and the password, and will lead to this page.
Okay.
Lead to this page. Every challenges have their Wow. Where is my?
It's not behaving. Okay. No, that's okay.
Wow. I tried so many times at home. Maybe I think it's like no, it's maybe like that.
Okay.
Maybe you can choose one of them, and it will lead to the which team participating in it. If you want to write the score of each team, you can write the team. You can click the team and lead to the score.
Okay.
This is the rules of how to mark them.
Okay.
And this is different between every challenges. This one have the and this one.
So that's this view, is this the administrator's view of the scores or the judge's view?
The judges.
Okay, so this is not what I want the judges to see. Okay, for the judges, what I want is, so you have the rules there, and they're judged upon. So for the Canyons of Mars, it's the total time taken, and how many zones they visited, and whether they touched the walls, that sort of thing. What I want the judges to be able to do is to type in the total time, to tick for each zone that they for each zone they visited, to tick whether they touched the walls, and then the actual score will get calculated elsewhere. So the judges don't have to calculate the score; they just have to record what they see, because I think that way there's less chance of a mistake happening.
So the administrator will calculate the scores.
No, the system. The system. Yeah. So the system. You don't. So that's why on those pages we don't need to have all the details about how the scores are calculated. because the judges don't need to know that. They just need to know what they have to record. So I want it to be really simple.
So for example, they just need these two ones. They see their time and see who was the first to reach the line.
No, they just need the time, but they also need check boxes for how many. I think for this one, it's how many zones they visit and how many times they touch the wall. Yeah, it's whatever the rules. It's going to depend upon the different challenges. But so, for example, for this Hubble telescope one, the scoring goes on the additional points. So they get points for each zone in the correct order. So you have tick, 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 up to 4 ticks for that. And for method 2, it's just tick for each zone entered and the time.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's all they have to record for this particular challenge is just the ticks, or they need to. So this is the challenge where there are 2 different ways of scoring it. They can enter, they have to follow the colours in a particular order, or they can choose just to go to all of the things. And when the team arrives, they'll have to choose. They'll have to ask the team which method are you using. Is it the
method 1 or method 2?
Method 1 or method 2, and then depending upon whether they've chosen method 1 or method 2, they'll get a different score page turner. In both cases, it has 3 runs, and they record for each run. They record the time, and they put in ticks to say whether they visited the zones in order or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we will calculate their scores and ranks at the bank stage and just show in the rank page and not in the login scoring page.
That's right. Yeah. So the judges don't care what the ranking is or anything like that. All they have to do is record what's happened for that challenge.
So at the surface, we just need to make the blank. They just write the time or something they can see in it.
Yeah, it depends upon what the score rules are. But yeah, basically, the minimum that they need to enter in order to capture enough to calculate the score. So the one which is slightly different is High Noon. So High Noon has a rule where the winner is the one that pops the balloons first. Yeah. But it's also timed, so if they get to the end of the time and both teams have the same number of balloons remaining, then the judge has to make a decision about which robot was the most aggressive, and they declare them the winner. So in that case, there should be a text box for the judge to explain why they chose that team as a winner.
So the judge will write this team, this round is win, and why.
Yeah, so probably there's probably a box to tick for the winner.
Yeah.
And they'll win outright if they pop all the other balloons.
This challenge.
Yeah.
They make round 1 is win, and the reason.
Yeah, and there's no rounds on that one either. It's just straight. They have one.
I see they have 3 rounds.
So cool. Yeah, rounds on that one are a bit different.
Maybe just 1 round. But the teams will team 1 with team 2 and team 1 with team 3.
No, it's a knockout competition. That's what they changed it. Okay. They have changed the rules, but never mind.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, right. So, what happens there? It's like when you have a football game and you have the first round where each team plays against each other, and then the winners of those ones they move to the next stage, and then they play against it, and then the winners move to the next stage. So it's a knockout competition. That's the way that it works. So they only have against one battle against a team, and then if they win, they move to the next round and they have a battle against a different team. Yeah. So that one is quite different to the other challenges. Yeah. With the exception of the special challenges, the addition, if we go back to the challenges page here. So we have these opportunities for more points. We have blogging, technical merit, artistic merit, and most space age robot. These are special competitions in that for all of the other ones, what we do is we have a whole lot of different judges who judge it at different times during the days, and they have to log in to judge it for the period they're doing, and they record it, and then they sign out and somebody else logs in and does it, right? These 4 competitions here, we have just one person judging each of them, and they're special judges in that for all of the other ones, the judges, they enter what they've seen and then they press submit and they can't change it. If they notice they made a mistake, they'll have to go to the admin team, and the admin team can fix a mistake, but the judges themselves can't edit it. For these 4 special competitions, the judges typically will see all of the competitors, they'll write comments about each of the competitors, and then they'll go back and then they'll do the ranking of the competitors afterwards and they will award points. So unlike the High Noon and so on where the points are calculated, these judges actually award the points. And so they'll be giving them a score out of, it doesn't say here, I think it's 40. You can say that it's 40. We say, you know, a absolutely outstanding one that's perfect in every way, that'll get 40 out of 40. And somebody who's made an attempt but it's pretty ordinary, maybe it only gets 10 out of 40, you know, that type of thing. But typically what we'll do is we'll look at them all, we make our comments about them in a text box, and then after we've considered all of them, we'll decide what the ranking is. So we'll decide on the ordering, and we'll give numbers to them based on the ordering. Okay, so it's quite a different style of judging to the other competitions. So those judges need to be able to go back and edit things that they've already done. Particularly for the technical merit and the artistic merit, because the way that's done is that on the day of the competition, those judges sit at a table and the teams come up one by one, show off their robot, and they have to look at it and go, oh, yeah, and they write their notes, and then after they've finished seeing every single robot, they might go back and edit their notes because they've made mistakes because they're typing very quickly, that type of thing. So they do definitely need to be able to edit. Yeah. Okay. So the system needs to record those people as a special type of judge, and they need to know which one of those things they're judging. Those people might also act as judges for the other competitions, the volunteer type judges. Okay, so they cannot act in the other role. Just to be confusing. So I am the judge for the blogging competition, for example. Okay, and in fact, that gets judged before the day of the competition. But I sit down and I read 41 blogs it is this year. And then after I've read them all, I decide what was good about them, what was bad about them, and then I have a rough sort of ranking of them, and then I say, well, yeah, that one was definitely the best one, and then I might look at it again and I'll go, yeah, it was the best, but it wasn't perfect, so I'll give it 35, and then I'll work my way down. That one was the worst one, and it was, you know, they really put no effort into it at all, so I'm only going to give it 5. You know, it's better than nothing, but it's pretty ordinary. And then I'll give them the other team's values in between, and that's how all of those competitions work, basically. Okay, so yeah, but the most important thing is not those ones, but these ones, these competitions, both the autonomous and the remote controlled ones, because we have so many different judges and they're changing so many times, it has to be completely foolproof. And that's why I don't want them to calculate the scores. I just want to keep it as simple as possible so that they can't accidentally type in the wrong number or something
Just
like
write
that.
down what they say.
They just write down what they see, and it should be, they shouldn't need any instruction on how to fill in the form. The form should be completely intuitive. Yeah.
The system will calculate.
And the system does all of the work for them. Yeah. I mean, and particularly because for most of the competitions, a lot of the ranking, a lot of the score is only calculated when everybody has finished, because you can't see who's got the fastest time until every competitor has competed.
Should we show how to calculate the process in some page, or just show the ranking, just the result? No, because basically the admin team already know they've designed the rules, so they know what the calculations are done by. They should be able to know how the things have come about, the scores have come about, so there's no reason why we would have to have the scoring thing. I mean, you might have it on, if you've got a general public version of the webpage, you could have an explanation of how the scores are calculated. That makes sense. But in terms of for the teams or for the judges and that sort of thing, they don't need that information. Okay. So I change the numbers.
Yeah, focus on, for me, one of the most important things is getting it right, so that the judges get it right, so that we don't have mistakes. That's the key thing. Because that's where we've gone wrong in the past. It's where people have calculated the scores incorrectly, and then we have people complaining. And whereas if we could say it's all system calculated, so, well, it will blame you, the system designers, if there's a mistake. No, I'm only joking. Because, as I've said before, you're writing software for this year's competition, but we wouldn't be using this software until next year anyway, because the competition is a month away today. It's on the 30th and 31st of March, and you're not going to be finished by then, right? And the competition will change slightly next year. It changes slightly every year. So the idea is that, you're going to set up something based upon this year's rules, and we will take that system and adapt it for next year's rules. Okay, so it's more important that you get the idea of the system right, rather than the details of the scoring. If there's small mistakes in the way you calculate the scores, it doesn't matter. Okay. Any other questions for me as a client?
I have a question about time penalty. For example, if the robot hits the walls, it should subtract some time. This should be implemented by the system or just by judge. Judge use time.
System. So it will record the time that the robot takes. The judge will enter the time taken by the robot as it was really, and then they'll have a tick box to say hit the wall, or maybe a number that they hit to say how many times it hit the wall, and then the system will automatically calculate based upon that. So if it hits the wall once, it gets a 30-second bit, but it will do that calculation.
So we should we design a function about time?
So what I imagine is that the judge's page will look for that particular one. This is the straight line speed test, the blast off challenge. The judge's thing, and I think for that one they get, let me just check, I think it's 3 runs, isn't it? So they have 5 minutes, and what's it say? 3 times, yes. So, and the robot with the shortest combined time will take first place, and only those robots that have completed 3 runs will be eligible for ranking. So the idea is you will have for each competitor, you'll have 1 box for run 1, 1 box for run 2, 1 box for run 3. In each of those boxes, you will have total time taken, which will be the actual elapsed time from start to end, and then you'll have penalties. So each touch the walls incurs a 10-second penalty up to a maximum of 30 seconds. So you'll have 1, 2, 3 or more, because whether it's 3 or 5, it's going to get a 30-second penalty, right? Robots scraping along the walls will be penalised to a maximum of 30 seconds, so you'll have scraping as a tick box. You're allowed to rescue it, and so you have a tick for how many times it's, or a number entered for how many times it's rescued. And that's what the penalties are. So that's what I would expect. You'll have 3 separate places to enter information, 1 for each run. Each one of those is going to have the time, and then tick boxes or number entry where you can put in the number of times the wall gets touched and the number of times the robot is rescued. Okay, so that when the judge logs in, they know, I mean, they should already know what they're going to be judging, but it will be obvious from the boxes that they have to fill in what information they should be gathering.
So the tables show to judges must be simple and useful.
Yeah, exactly. Simple and very difficult for them to make a mistake is the key thing. Yeah. And then at the end, when they've entered all the information for that particular person, they've just pressed submit, and it gets stored.
If the judge for some indirect information, such as if they need to input the score, but if some words, some characters, we should tell them. Yeah, so you should do some error checking to make sure that it's the right thing that they're entering. I mean, with most forms on on a web page form, you can specify that it should be a number or a text or whatever. So yeah, you can do error checking. And if they forget to input some information, we should give them. We should tell them.
Yeah. I think if they, for example, if they forgot to enter the time, they should certainly say you need to fill in this thing. Yeah. There might be something like if they haven't touched the wall, then maybe they have not checked a box, but that's fine.
For example, if they forgot something, they couldn't click submit, and it will tell him you forgot what, and
pop up an error message and yeah. The same way you do for other forms. I'm sure you've used forms where it says you must complete this field. Yeah.
For the last challenge, I'm a little confused about this rule.
Okay.
On your fastest run,
okay, so this is the
last
the obstacle course one.
Yeah. Additional points.
Oh, it sounds like it. So they change the obstacle course each year, and it sounds like this year there are ways of avoiding certain obstacles. Okay, so in previous years you couldn't complete the course unless you completed all of the obstacles. And it sounds like this year you can skip them after you've attempted them. So Okay, so you get 3 tries at this course as well, I think. Yeah. So you'll have 3 different times, and essentially a similar sort of interface to the previous one. You'll get 3 boxes or 3 tabs or something like that, and in each one you have the time taken, and then we'll have check boxes for the different obstacles, okay, and the judge will tick completed, skip that one, completed, right? And that's all the information that the judge needs to enter, because then the system can see out of those 3 runs, which was the fastest time, then it counts how many obstacles were passed for that time, and it will award 50 points for each of those obstacles, and there you get your 50 points for each obstacle. You'll also get, say, 30 points for each run in which you negotiate all obstacles successfully. So if they've ticked every box, then they get, the system will add 30 points. But this is all, the judge doesn't have to see that happening, it happens behind.
On your fastest run means I should compare with myself, or I should compare with others?
No, out of the 3 runs that your team has. Okay, so your fastest run means your team runs 3 times through this course, and one of those is going to be your best time. But maybe so you might have, on your first run through, you do every obstacle, but you go quite slowly. On your second run, you skip 2 obstacles and you go a lot faster. So you get taken off, you get 100 points less on your second run because you skipped 2 of the obstacles. But that's the one that you're getting your points awarded for, because it was faster.
If I only try one time and I succeed, I can get this additional point. Because this time is the fastest.
That's interesting. I don't know, because I say this is new this year. I think in that case, if you only completed the course once, we would only count that one time, and however many obstacles you passed on that one time would be what you get your points for. Yeah.
And if these challenges team limit is 7 minutes, if the one team have over it, the judges will write how much time they takes, maybe the 9 minutes or something, or just write a time out.
So I think pretty well every team will complete at least one of the runs in 7 minutes. Typical. I mean, the best times for an individual run on this course are takes about a minute to complete it. So most teams will easily complete 3 runs in that time. But yeah, if they only complete 2 runs, or if they get halfway through the second run and they time out, then only the first run would get counted. They changed the rules. Okay. They keep changing the rules. Any other questions?
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah? All right then. So, so we'll meet again next week. It'll be half an hour earlier again. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.